Hello, it's Jeanette with Amazing Paper Crafts. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm back with another video tutorial, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how I made this card. It is a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 square card. It is a thank you card, and it is semi-monochromatic because it's all red, and I'm going to be using a stamp set that I got for free, and you can get for free also during the celebrations, which goes all the way to March 31st. And this stamp set is called Thoughtful Blooms. And if you purchase $50 worth of Stampin' Up merchandise, you can get this for free. Now, if you order an additional $100 in merchandise, you can get the coordinating punch. Well, I'm not going to be using the punch today. I'm just going to be using the stamp set, and I'm going to be using a technique called Turnabout, and with that you need a stamp positioning tool. And of course I'm going to bring out my favorite stamp positioning tool, the Stamparatus. Okay, now what I have done in advance is I have placed all of my stamps basically in strategic areas so that you can stamp and then turn your cardstock. But before I do my stamping, I'm going to need to cut out, or to die cut out, what I'm going to stamp on. And I'm going to be using the layering squares, but I'm going to use the second to the largest of the scallop squares. And I'm going to just go ahead and take this to my die cutting machine, and I'm just using just a piece of Whisper White cardstock for that, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got my piece die cut here, and I'm going to be stamping something on this part of it in just a little bit, that little thank you part. But let's just work on this this white piece here that I die cut. And like I say, I have this position done here in strategic fashion so that every time I turn the paper 90 degrees, it's going to stamp, and eventually we'll have a really nice pattern. So the color that I'm going to be using is Real Red. I've got it hiding over here. Now I've got this Real Red ink in one of our uninked stamps, uninked spots. I think that's what they're called. And I have just this little block that I put some repositionable adhesive, and it just helps me to pick it up and put it down when I'm stamping, especially when I'm doing a lot of stamping. So I like to use a smaller ink pad when I use my Stamparatus. That way I won't get so much ink all over the plates. So I am stamping, and the here we go. I wanted to show you the ones we're going to be using. We're going to be using this flower right here. We are also using this here to overlay on that flower, and this little flower right here just in between. So you'll see how that works out. Okay, so I'm going to stamp the first one, and I do have a little corner here to help me stay away from this like deep corner here. It just stamps a little bit better when I put it further away from the hinge, where hinges kind of meet up there. So I am going to stamp this down. I'm picking this up carefully. Okay, and now I'm going to turn this. Doesn't look like much until the end. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to stamp it up again, ink it up again rather, and then stamp. You see how that is, I'm going to make sure this is right, how that is overlaying that flower in the corner. That's how I positioned it. When you position your stamps, you want to probably do it on a piece of scrap paper first, so that you've got it all, everything all aligned perfectly. And all you need to do is just ink it up and stamp it 4 times. Unless you're using one of those 8 or 12 sided templates, but I am just going to do this 4 times. That's the 3rd time, and 1 more time, and we will be done. Make sure you've got that nice and straight on here. And there you go. And now I'm going to be layering this on a piece of designer series paper from our From My Heart. I think that's the name of it. I got it right here. It's called the From My Heart Specialty Designer Series paper. Look how shiny that is. I have all my papers here in this plastic pouch. I like to put my papers in plastic so that they don't discolor in the light. Sometimes paper can do that if you leave it exposed in the light for too long. So I'm just going to go ahead and layer that right here. Okay, and I'm just going to use some Tombow mono adhesive, liquid glue, multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're going to set that here. Okay. Put the lid back on it. And we're just going to place this right in the center, right here. Make sure that it's all centered. And we're going to leave this to dry while I work on the outside. Now, I have a piece of thick Whisper white cardstock, and this measures 8.5 by 4 1/4, and I'm just going to move this aside here because I need to score this in half, and I will score it with my not my Simply Scored. I think I'm just going to bring out my cutter, my trimmer, my paper trimmer. The reason why I really like this paper trimmer is because it has an excellent score blade. So I'm going to bring this to the 4 1/4 here and score it. Okay, and it leaves a nice fine, I don't know if you can see it in this light, but it leaves a really nice fine score line here. And it just looks so neat and sleek. And so now I'm going to put this corner here, right in the corner of this trimmer, because I have this, I don't have this arm open, I have it closed. And I'm going to match corners here, and this helps me when I want to go and fold and burnish. Just in case I'm off a little bit on my score line, now I've got everything matching perfectly on the corners here. And that's what I love about this new trimmer that we have, our Stampin' Up trimmer. Okay, so now I need to bring back my Stamparatus, and I am going to go ahead and replace this with this one here, but I'm going to be putting this on this end here. Okay, and so I've got this right in the corner, and I have these already positioned so that it's going to give me that little leaf and that little border design right there. Let me put this over here. I'm going to leave that there so that it's not so hard for me to pick that up. Okay, let's bring back our Real Red ink. Ink it up really good. All right, and now make sure this is straight. I've got that magnet right there in the middle so that it makes sure that my paper will stay. Okay, picking it up. There, what a nice crisp design that is. Okay, I'm going to turn this 90 degrees, and I will stamp it 4 times like I did the last one. Now I'm done. Isn't that nice? Now I'm also going to be stamping a sentiment on the inside of the card. I think it's here, and we are stamping it like this. Okay, now I got it. All right, so I have this positioned supposedly right in the center, but if it's off just a little bit, I'm not going to be upset. Okay, so I just have to make sure that this is going to stay put right here while I ink up my sentiment. And the sentiment says, I'm always amazed but never surprised by your thoughtfulness. Isn't that a really beautiful sentiment? Okay, so we're hoping that's going to be right in the center here. And I think it might work. If it's off just a little, like I said, I don't really mind too much. Okay. It's a little smudged, but I'm okay with that. You can still read the words. Okay, let's put the rest of this card together now. I'm going to put this Stamparatus away. And let me use my bone folder to fold that a little bit better. And now I'm going to be raising this up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I have some dimensionals right here. Isn't that a pretty pattern on the back of this paper? It doesn't have the foil shine to it, but it's so cute. Okay, so we're putting about, I don't know how many we should put on here. You could go to town and put a whole bunch of dimensionals on here. I'll put about maybe 7. One right in the center. Okay, and now I'm going to take the backer paper off. For some reason, these dimensionals that I got, I'm using ones that I got in a kit, and the backer paper is real easy to get off. I don't need a tool. I just use my fingernail. But sometimes you can use your take your pick tool to get all of these backer papers off of your dimensionals. Now I want to make sure that this is going to be right in the center. So my dimensionals, I can't trust my shaky hands to do that. So what I'm going to do is I am putting some liquid glue on top of the dimensionals, which is going to make them a little slippery slidey. And that's great because I need that little wiggle room so that I can make sure that these are going to be perfect on here. Okay, let's see. Kind of have to lift it up here, make sure that I've got it nice and straight and perfect. Okay, and we're going to let that dry while we work on our little sentiment. And like I said, I'm going to be using this little piece of Whisper White that I have here. And my sentiment is just a nice little thank you, and it's really small. So I am just going to stamp it. Okay. And I'm going to take the smallest, the very, very smallest of these scallop squares. That's this one here. And I'm going to die cut that out. But I'm also going to take a little piece of that Designer Series paper, and with the next die up, the next to the smallest square scallop die, I am going to cut out. Okay, I'm going to just try to make sure that I've got it even on all sides, like maybe all of those little white polka dots on here are going to show. That would be good. Let me put a little piece of tape on here. This is a repositionable tape, by the way. I just get it. It's like repositionable Scotch tape, the Scotch brand. Now let me get another little piece of that tape so I can do that with my thank you. Now I don't want this to be so right in the middle because I want to stamp another little flower right here. So I'm just going to move it off a little bit like that. Now we're going to take both of these to the die cutting machine, and I will be right back. Now the reason why I wanted to wait until I stamped that is so I can see where I have a little bit of room. And that's just going to layer on top of the little white piece is going to layer right on top of that little piece of designer series paper that I cut out. So let's put these back. And we'll put this away over here. Okay. And let's get out this teensy, teensy, tiny little stamp. Isn't that cute? It's so little. Okay. And just tap it with our real red ink. And right on the corner, I've got that little flower there. Isn't that cute? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put some liquid multi-purpose glue on here. Okay. And we will glue that right in the center here. Okay. Let's put a dimensional on here, on the back of here. Okay. And I'll do the same thing so that I can make sure that I've got it right in the center. I'm going to add just a little bit of liquid adhesive. I'm only putting one dimensional on here. Okay, make sure I've got it the right way. And we're going to set this right in the center here. I'm going to move it around just a little bit and make sure that it's right in the center. That looks pretty okay to me. All right, now let's decorate it with some gems. Now these gems come from the From My Heart faceted gems in that same suite, the From My Heart suite. And so there's different sizes of gems. I believe there's like 3 different sizes of each color. So I'm going to try to pull out. Let me grab my Take Your Pick tool. It's got this putty on the end of it. I hope I'm not running out of my putty here. Okay. There. You can just roll, you can like unscrew it a little bit or just screw it tighter and then the putty comes out. But sometimes it comes out a lot. So you have to be kind of careful with that. So I can pretty much pick out the big red ones, and those are going to be on the corners. So we'll start there. Okay. And I am going to put a glue dot on every one of those corner flowers. And I'm going to just take the glue dot off with this Take Your Pick tool, and we'll set that right down here. Okay. Now these glue dots came from a kit. Our kits are coming with glue dots on a sheet, and they're kind of like the Stampin' Dimensionals, only they're flat, where you have that little piece of paper over it to help, you know, it's going to be under the glue. I think I'll just go ahead and put my little dimensionals on the smaller ones too. Okay. And there we go, right here. These aren't dimensionals, these are glue dots. Yes, I know I said dimensionals, but yeah, I put glue dots on all. So there's 8 little glue dots there. And now I'm going to take my other side of the Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to go ahead and peel off the backer paper of these little glue dots. And that's really not hard to do. But these little papers are going to be everywhere, just like your dimensional papers are. I have a little trash can on my desk where I'm putting these. Okay. And now let me grab my little gems, and I'm going to put a gem on every corner. Can really pick it up nice and easy with these, with this Take Your Pick tool. I love this thing. And now I'm going to try to find some smaller ones. I think there's about 3 different sizes, like I said. And I can see where I'm going to run out of these like really quick because I love these things. I want to put them on everything I make. everything that's got red in it. Okay, so I've got my, let's flip these over. I've got the next size over, and I'm going to go ahead and pick them up and put them in on that little smaller flower right here. Oops, I forgot one of these. Okay, like that. Pick that up, put that one right there. Let's flip this one over if we can, and we'll pick it up and we will put it right there. All right, and there's this little tiny teensy one that I think is a little bit too big for that little glue dot, and I'm going to put that one right here, but I'm just going to add just a little drop of the liquid multi-purpose glue, and we'll put that one right here. But I think I'm going to need something else, like my tweezers, to hold that down, because my fingers are too fat. There it is, right there. Okay, I got it. Now, when everything dries, it should be great. All right. What do you think? Isn't this pretty? I just love this card. I love all the bling and the shine, and it's just so pretty. Now, I made an envelope. This is an envelope that I have instructions for, and I will put a link in the description of the video where I showed you how I made this with the measurements and everything. And this is just a handmade envelope, but I made another one, if I could find it over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some other stamps from that stamp set. I'll take the other smaller flower, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the corner here. Okay, and there's also a leaf, another little leaf here that I can be very careful, not get my head in the way. I'll just go ahead and put a couple of leaves on this flower here. Okay, there we go. And maybe a couple more of these little flowers just to decorate. One more, just like that. Just a little splash of color in the corner of the envelope. Okay, and there you have it. This is my project for today. I hope that you like it. I hope that I've taught you something. I hope you like that little turnabout technique that I've used. It's a lot of fun, and you can use any stamp set for that technique. I like stamp sets that have, smaller images, because then you can really fill up your card really nice. So, if you need any of the tools and supplies that I used in this video, please go to my website at www.geoamazingpapercrafts.stampinup.net, and I will be happy to be your demonstrator if you don't already have one. All of the supplies and the tools that I used are going to be listed in the description in this video here. So once again, I am Jeanette with Geoamazing Paper Crafts, and you make it a great day. Bye-bye.